fear is conquered by knowledge. Fear is conquered by
Mm.
understanding. Fear is conquered by repetition and exposure. And so all we're saying is that it's okay to be afraid of it, but that shouldn't inhibit you from taking the first step to try to understand it.
Wow, I really like that a lot. And by the way, everybody, I just put that link in the chat for the conference. I forgot to put it in there, but there it is. There's the link, Deanna. It's right there for you. Amanda, so you got that awesome compliment from Robert Smith where he talked about some of the work you're doing, and he referred to it as a bridge to opportunity. I think that's really powerful, and it's an amazing compliment, from an amazing guy. I never met Robert, but I respect him. In terms of that word opportunity, and I'm thinking about things like black wealth and stuff like that. What comes to mind for you immediately when you see what AI can do in terms of either closing the racial wealth gap or actually allowing us to actually take the lead when it comes to wealth creation in our community? I believe we can do that. What are your thoughts on that in terms of AI's role in that process?
So, well, first up for context. So the compliment that Robert gave me, amazing, right? It was in regards to my program, the App Accelerator. And so the App Accelerator is a step-by-step program where I teach non-technical founders how to build apps.
Mhm.
No matter if you have a coding background or not, we leverage AI to do it as well as traditional methods. The program, we partner with HBCUs around the country. We have a self-paced program that you can just enroll in online, but we also partner with HBCUs, and we're in the process of expanding the program to every HBCU in the country. So it's a really exciting time for us. But what we do is we kind of bridge that gap because right now, 70% of people, when they try to transition into their business into an app, they fail, right? And the average person, non-technical founder, spends around $50,000 in trying to in inefficiencies in trying to build an app. They waste about 2 years of time, and they spend around $50,000 just trying to figure it out. And so my goal in creating the App Accelerator was helping people bridge that gap to ensure that they spend less time and spend less money. I kept seeing people lose their life savings trying to build products, and I just didn't want to see that. We don't have that money to lose, right? And so that is the work that we do, and I think in seeing my students and working with them, how it's transformed their livelihoods. They are now able to employ people. I'll give you an example of a company I work with in the Virgin Islands, two brothers. They're Virgin Islands. I don't know if you guys have been to the U.S. Virgin Islands recently, but in many ways, they're still living like it's the early 90s, right? They don't have rideshare. They don't have food service delivery. You are
Wow.
catching the bus everywhere, or you're waiting, an hour for a taxi, right? And so this presents an incredible opportunity to innovate, right? And these brothers didn't have a background in tech. They decided they wanted to create a food delivery service. And it's just amazing what they've done in just a matter of years as a result of just them buckling down, focusing on training themselves on product development and training themselves on AI, right? They built this product, right? And now when you come to the island of St. Croix and they're expanding into St. Thomas right now, you see their logo in every restaurant's window, right? So they have not only increased revenue streams for these restaurants, they've built a startup and been able to transition into self-employment for themselves, right? But now in a territory where I think the average income is around $22,000 to $24,000 a year, they have now employed a new fleet of people with gig work and enabled them and empowered them to supplement their income with additional revenue, right? And they've transformed the landscape of their communities. And so what I say is that if, we don't necessarily have to chase unicorns here. We don't need to necessarily create the next Google or the next Facebook. But if we can create small localized businesses and create, let's say, 10,000 more of those around Black communities around the country, what would that look like for us, right? How would that improve our quality of life as entrepreneurs, right? And now that we're scaling our business, making more money, how would that improve the community if we're employing people in our community, right? As opposed to depending on the corporate plantation, right? What would that look like as far as just improving, just the livelihoods and how people impact and navigate their communities. Like for how many years have these islands not been able to get food from a restaurant, right?